struggle of the Quebec students is extremely inspiring, and it's only escalating. It's only getting larger. As everyone knows, started off as opposition to the Charest dictatorship's attempt to raise tuition fees. Now it's further gone ahead, and it's now opposition, of course, to the Bill 78, which is really simply passed, as everyone knows, to deny the students their right to dissent and, of course, their right to education. There's no doubt that Bill 78, as others have pointed out, is an unjust and repressive law, but it has not intimidated the students in the least. In fact, just after the law was passed, what happened? 500,000 people went in the streets. Wow, they were really intimidated. More and more people are coming forward, and it's very interesting because it seems to me that the people's desire to participate alongside the students is not just about the right to education, but also the struggle for a better Quebec, a modern Quebec that recognizes the rights of all, including the right to education. The special law, which basically criminalizes political life in Quebec, in other words, it's criminal to be political. Everything should be left in the hands of the government. They decide everything, right? There's a law, there are harsh penalties. We know there's danger of police assaults, and it's being defied again and again. Now, on this issue of violence, which some people have been raised, it's pretty interesting because it reveals once again that it's the state that's responsible for the violence, not the people. There was an evening demonstration. There was an evening demonstration in Émile Gamelin Park in Montreal. Sorry about my French, but there was a large police presence there, and they did not attack the demonstrators. Guess what? The demonstration was peaceful. So it's clear where the violence comes from. It's the state that's responsible for all the violence and anarchy, not the students. And you see that the monopoly media like the Edmonton Journal and the Calgary Herald, they're spreading all this. Not one columnist or commentator has come out in support of the students. They're all attacking them over and over again. There's a whole media campaign across Canada to attack the students. Thousands continue to demonstrate in Montreal neighborhoods and all over Quebec, and not only that, there are demonstrations around the world in support. Huge demonstration in France, there are demonstrations in the U.S., and also of note are, and you can hear them right here, right, again, pardon my French, but I think they're called Manif de Casserole, and the people come out in their neighborhoods. Woo! And they bang on them, and in unison to express their support for the students. Nothing stops the students, not even the weather. There's a huge deluge on a lot of places in Montreal and other places on Friday night. Everybody came out, and one reporter said, quote, "It would be easier to name the cities and towns which had no demonstrations than to name the ones which did have demonstrations." Just a couple of other developments here. On May 25th, students' associations, union centrals, and community groups filed court actions to annul the special law. There are a total of 140 claimants from 70 organizations who are part of 2 legal actions. So the battle's been waged in the streets, and the battle's also being waged in the legal front. And as one of the spokespersons said, and I like this quote, "This contemptible law is for the purposes of muzzling, crushing, and dominating anyone who wishes to express themselves publicly." And I'm sure everyone agrees here, such a law must not pass, and it must be opposed. As you can see, well, we of course have support in Edmonton. We've held some rallies on the campus at the University of Alberta supporting the Quebec students, and I guess you could say even there we had a little taste of, quote, special laws, because when a group of demonstrators, which included many students and faculty, tried to march onto the campus, suddenly the police prevented them and said there was some special regulation suddenly enforced. So we're not just supporting them out there, you know. This is something we have to keep in mind for us. We have to prepare, we have to organize to resist, and we have to figure out what tactics we could use in these situations ourselves, just as the Quebec students. I thought everyone might be happy to hear that the Edmonton and District Labour Council, which represents the unions in this area, has passed a resolution in support of the Quebec students. If you bear with me, I can very quickly read it. Whereas students in Quebec are in day 100 of their strike against tuition fee increases, this was on Monday, and to provide the right to education with a guarantee, and whereas the Charest government, I guess I should read dictatorship, has refused to negotiate with the students, but instead on May 18th passed draconian legislation to suspend civil liberties in Quebec and criminalize the students and everyone who assists them, and whereas Quebecers are opposing Bill 78, the special law, on an unprecedented scale, and believe me, this is unprecedented in terms of the large size of the demos, with Quebecers from all walks of life, including the unions, denouncing the law and joining the movement. And whereas students are taking the stand that the Quebec people cannot submit to this bill, be it resolved that the EDLC stands with students in their fight against the tuition fee hikes and against the suspension of civil liberties and attacks on the rights of students in all of Quebec society, and calls on all its affiliates to do the same. So this support will definitely continue, I'm sure. The Quebec government's attacks on the rights of Quebecers is also a warning to everyone and a call to get seriously organized to resist in defense of the rights of all. Red salute to the courage and determination of their students who through their just struggle are bringing out the best in society and pointing the way forward to a bright future.
Thank you, Dougal. I heard a rumor that Dougal is Miro's uncle. Is that really true? Yes? No? Who will admit it?